हेलो हाय आदाब और सत श्री अकाल। एक बार फिर से आ गया हूं मैं आप लोगों के बीच, आपका हमराज आरजे अभिनव 90.4 मेगाहर्ट्ज कम्युनिटी रेडियो ज्ञानवाणी यानी कि ज्ञान की वाणी पर दोबारा एक बार फिर से आ गया हूं आप लोगों के पास, आपका फेवरेट शो लेकर, जो है नो योर फैकल्टी, जिसमें हम फैकल्टी के बारे में जानते हैं। आप ही के स्कूल, आप ही की यूनिवर्सिटी से जो अलग अलग स्कूल्स हैं, उस डिपार्टमेंट से एक फैकल्टी को लेकर आते हैं, उन्हें इन्वाइट करते हैं, उनसे बात करते हैं, उनकी पर्सनैलिटीज़ के बारे में वो बातें जानते हैं जो अभी तक स्टूडेंट्स भी नहीं जानते, या कुछ ऐसी बातें भी जो उनके कलीग नहीं जानते। हम उनको और करीब से जानने की कोशिश करते हैं और जानते हैं कि वो किस तरह की उनकी हॉबीज़ हैं और उनके रिएक्शंस किस तरह के होते हैं, किस वक्त वो कैसा सोच रहे होते हैं, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा। तो ऐसे ही आज मेरे पास स्कूल ऑफ फिजियोथेरेपी से एक और फैकल्टी आई हैं, जिनके बारे में मैं आपको कुछ बातें बताऊंगा और उसके बाद उनका हम वार्म वेलकम करेंगे और उनसे करेंगे चंद सवाल जो कि अक्सर हम करते हैं। सबसे पहले उनका नाम है डॉक्टर अमृता नेरुरकर, प्रोफेसर एंड एचओडी ऑफ न्यूरो फिजियोथेरेपी, स्कूल ऑफ फिजियोथेरेपी से डीवाई पाटिल यूनिवर्सिटी से। She completed her graduation in physiotherapy and post-graduation in neurophysiotherapy from Seth GS Medical College and KEM Hospital, Mumbai. Thereafter, she did her second master's in clinical psychology and a diploma in arts-based therapy. She has been working as a faculty in teaching, clinical area and research in the School of Physiotherapy since 15 years. She is currently pursuing her PhD in the field of arts-based therapy and its application in neuro-rehabilitation. Her pursuits beyond physiotherapy are in the fields of classical dance and writing. जो कहते हैं कि भाई बहुमुखी प्रतिभा के धनी होते हैं, ये वो हैं। She has written a book of poems titled Being Radha that was published in 2016. She has completed Visharad in Kathak and currently doing and getting trained in Hindustani classical and vocal music. So much talent and actually so much things only in one personality. अब पूछना कि कैसे कैसे मैं सवाल किस तरह से इसमें बोल्ड करता हूँ और उनसे पूछता हूँ, तो सबसे पहले हम उनका वार्म वेलकम करते हैं। गुड मॉर्निंग, कैसे हैं आप?
थैंक यू सो मच आरजे अभिनव, इट्स अ प्लेजर बीइंग हियर and thank you for the long introduction, very generous.
Pleasure is all mine. तो सबसे पहले जिस सवाल से हम लोग शुरुआत करते हैं, and be comfortable with your language. If actually you want to give the answer in English or Hindi, you're good at that. We are comfortable. Tell us about your journey here at DY Patil University. When did you start working here, and how have you evolved as a teacher and human being?
So I started in the year 2008.
Okay.
It was after my post-graduation. So I had a brief tenure in Nanavati Hospital for a couple of months.
Oh, wow.
But my dream was to come into teaching, because there is something about teaching that I think I very, as it said, viscerally I kind of resonate with. I feel a sense of pleasure sharing whatever that I discover with somebody who is keen to learn that. So I think that is what got me into teaching. So I think
Great.
now over the years I have discovered this nice kind of flow of energy between the clinical work that I do, sharing those discoveries with my students, learning from them, bringing it back into the clinical work, and then employing some research projects, through which something more is discovered in a very formal way, with that kind of a discipline. तो वो over the years होते जा रहा है. I've been very lucky to be working with some seniors who have guided me through the field. I learned from the kind of discipline that they bring to the work culture, and it's been a very nice journey. And I'm very grateful for the opportunities, for the support, for the challenges, everything that I've had in the last 15 years. So it's been a great journey.
Oh great, nicely explained. अमूमन ऐसा मतलब कम होता है कि लोग जाते हैं फील्ड में और वो उसके बाद एकेडमिक या टीचिंग फील्ड में कम आते हैं एक्चुअली, बिकॉज इफ दे आर एक्चुअली बीइंग डॉक्टर, तो वो स्पेशली प्रैक्टिस करना ज़्यादा पसंद करते हैं, समथिंग लाइक दैट. एक्चुअली इन योर केस इट केम इन अपोजिट वे, और एक्चुअली यू थॉट अबाउट दैट कि मुझे टीचिंग में ही जाना है, आई वांट टू डू दैट ओनली.
हाँ, नहीं, आई डू बोथ. So I think I spend 50% of my working time doing clinical work, and the other 50% is dedicated to teaching and research work. So I think it's a balance, and I think I can survive only with this balance. I think I can probably operate as a teacher, being a clinician as well. नहीं तो फिर I will not be convinced about what I'm saying. So even the topics that I teach, thankfully, are the ones related to the patients that I see. So I think that sense of conviction that comes in while saying something to the student, I think it comes from having been in that situation of, let's say, vulnerability. जब एक patient आता है, आपको challenge feel होता है, आप थोड़े से fail भी होते हो, then you start discovering a solution. तो वो पूरा process में से आप जाके ही फिर पूरे conviction के साथ एक student को बोल सकते हो कि this is the strategy that will work.
Sure.
Besides all
Well,
the
actually, your
literature that
practice
is
that.
there, so I think it's the practicing and the preaching that should go hand in
Hand
hand.
in hand. Okay, great. What made you choose the field of physiotherapy? I know actually you have answered that, especially in the long way. So you can actually give us the short answer. How did you prepare yourself for this since school and college days?
So physiotherapy is not something that everyone is very well aware of, and
You're right.
especially in those days in the 90s when I was in school, there was
Yeah, I
very
was
little
not.
awareness of that. Luckily though, मेरे distant relatives थे, both of them are they are ladies, they are working now somewhere in the US.
Okay.
तो वहाँ से मैंने सुना था कि physiotherapy is a good field, which involves a lot of scope in terms of not only earning money and all, but just as an intellectual pursuit, it's a very
Pursuit.
good field.
So at
तो
that
इसलिए
time, actually
वैसे,
in India, there was a boom or something like that?
uh,
Because your relatives
possibly,
working in the
I
abroad.
think these both of those girls were approximately 10 years senior to me,
Oh,
perhaps.
okay.
One of them was doing her post graduation in Sion Hospital at that time. तो वहाँ से
Right.
मुझे थोड़ा सा पता था एटलीस्ट फिजियोथेरेपी के बारे में. बहुत लोगों को आई थिंक बहुत ज़्यादा
नहीं पता होता
था
especially.
भी नहीं. But like many other students, my first choice was again MBBS. My second
Choice was for
choice was
physiotherapy.
physiotherapy. But then when I realized that I'm not getting marks enough to get qualified for an MBBS seat in a government hospital, because I was a little constrained as far as how much I was able to spend for the education. तो
Oh,
private
okay.
का option नहीं था. तो government में नहीं मिला. I was very happy to take that second option. And then once I was in the field, and then over the years, I think I'm lucky to find the field which has given manifestation to my potential. I may
Oh,
not have
wonderful.
been as happy being an MBBS
In any other area,
doctor.
especially.
I'm actually in the field of my choice, I think.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Actually, you took the right decision. Especially, you took the calculative decision. Dr. Vijay Patel is an inspiration for all of us. How has he motivated you?
I think, though I have not had a chance to interact with him as closely as some people who are, probably in the administration, and
Yes,
we
yes.
from a distance we get to see him, hear him. But I think that generally the whole culture of innovation,
Yes.
and making use of whatever resources available and converting that into an instrument to build something new. That whole attitude of constantly upgrading, constantly discovering something new, and
Making the world
and
class.
maintaining a certain standard,
Yes,
not
definitely.
settling for anything that is substandard. I think that is what percolates through the colleges, through the faculty. I think that's
So
a
actually,
big
in that way,
source
actually, he
of
inspired
motivation.
you. Okay, great, wonderful. Definitely, I agree totally with you. Can you explain the role of physiotherapy in healthcare and how it contributes to the well-being of patients?
So I think this can be a big answer. There are a lot of streams in which physiotherapy. Every.
I mean,
health
that's important that I know
whether-
nowadays,
हाँ,
especially
so
physiotherapy is important.
Whether it's health or whether it's disease, whether it's a healthy person who wants to be fitter and wants to make sure that he carries his entire lifestyle in a way that he does not really face a disease in the future. So that preventive care is also one aspect of physiotherapy. But as far as disease situations are concerned, whether it is an orthopedic condition, whether it is a cardiovascular condition after a bypass surgery or an angioplasty,
obviously,
or
surgery, yeah,
whether it is
definitely.
the field in which I work, which is neurological cases, pediatrics and adults. I work more in the pediatrics area, children
Okay.
with special needs.
Okay,
So in every
okay.
area, we have a very big role to play. In some areas, in fact, after the initial acute treatment is taken care of by the medicine,
By the medicine,
people,
yeah,
the
definitely.
patient actually belongs to physiotherapy.
You're right, you're right. Even actually after the surgery of the, if you have done with the surgery of your backbone, so actually they give it to, at that time, to the physiotherapy. And physiotherapists actually, they actually make you realize that you can do that, you can walk,
Yes.
you can do it on your own.
Yes.
So actually they make actually very important role
Yes,
for
and
that.
we so currently the model of assessment and all that we practice, we make sure that it's not just about curing the pain or increasing the strength or increasing the endurance. Those are the short-term things that we do. But ultimately, it is all geared towards functional participation. So we see that we do something to get the patient back into the society,
Oh,
return
yes,
to work,
definitely.
participation in social life, and all. So,
Okay. Nicely explained. What are some common misconceptions about physiotherapy and how can you clarify them for our listeners?
So one thing is that commonly it is believed that when a physiotherapist applies some electrical modality, that is when she's
okay.
or he is doing good therapy.
Okay.
So that's so it's not really that. Those electrical modalities, some of them are very beneficial and they have a role to play, but the larger role is that of exercises. Okay, and
You're
they
right.
are designed based on scientific rationale and evidence. So every exercise that is chosen, whether it is for strength or endurance training or for selective control of movements, motor control, it's all done based on the sound rationale of biomechanics and a lot of neurophysiology
Sure,
work that has
agree.
been done in literature. So it's very
It's also
tailor
actually
made for
depends
a
person to
patient.
person.
Exactly, it is tailor made for that client, for
हाँ.
that patient. एंड सो मिसकंसेप्शंस जनरली वैसे होते हैं कि किसी ने वहाँ पे किसी मेरे रिलेटिव को ये ट्रीटमेंट दिया था, तो वो ट्रीटमेंट अगर मुझे नहीं मिला तो शायद मेरी फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट ठीक नहीं है. तो ऐसा नहीं है. इट्स
Definitely ऐसा
वेरी
नहीं है. It's not
यूनिक
like that.
फॉर एवरी पेशेंट.
यू राइट स्पेशली. ओके, हाँ, ऐसे पेशेंट तो आपको ज़रूर टकराते होंगे. ओके, देयर इज ऑल्सो द वन क्वेश्चन, वन पर्सनल क्वेश्चन ऑल्सो, कि अगर आपको अब ऐसे में ऐसे कुछ पेशेंट्स टकराते हैं एंड एक्चुअली एट दैट टाइम यू आर लाइक दैट कि अब मैं गुस्सा करना भी चाहती हूँ लेकिन कर नहीं सकते हो, समथिंग लाइक दैट. हाउ डू यू डील विद इट? डू बी स्ट्रिक्ट समटाइम्स?
हाँ.
व्हाट डू यू डू?
So I mean there are times when you definitely lose your temper. तो ऐसे नहीं है कि कभी गुस्सा नहीं आता, इरिटेशन नहीं होता. पर एक बात है कि मतलब हम सब उतने प्रिविलेज नहीं होते कि हमें सारा इन्फॉर्मेशन कहीं से मिले. कुछ पेशेंट्स एक्चुअली रूरल एरिया से भी होते हैं, कुछ ऐसे जगहों से होते हैं जहाँ पे उनको वो इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं होता है. तो
और उन पर ज़्यादा गुस्सा करके समझा नहीं सकते उन्हें आप.
एजुकेट दैट पेशेंट. तो जितने अच्छे से हम एजुकेट कर सके उतना डेफिनेटली करते हैं हर पेशेंट को. अगर ऐसे हुआ तो वी ट्राई टू बी एज एम्पैथेटिक एज पॉसिबल.
You're the strict one, physiotherapist.
I'm not considered to be strict. I'm considered.
You
to
don't
be
actually look like that, especially.
But yeah, at times I am. As far as timings especially are concerned, कोई थोड़ा सा अगर लाइटली ले उस पूरे डिसिप्लिन या घर पे एक्सरसाइज ना करे तो थोड़ा स्ट्रिक्ट होने से ही आप अच्छे थेरेपिस्ट बन सकते हो.
For their
well-being. Yeah.
Okay, how has the field of physiotherapy evolved over the years, and what emerging trends or technologies are shaping its future?
So there are many advances that have happened. Like in my field, let's say neurorehabilitation.
Neurorehabilitation, yes.
That's the place where I'm specializing.
No, I actually related with the neuro word only with the neurosurgery because one of my family doctor is that. So now you can actually explain me that neurorehabilitation.
So there are many traditional techniques which have been there since like 30-40 years. Physiotherapy generally is a young field, इसलिए सच किसी को ट्रेडिशनल बोलना भी गलत है. 30-40 years से जो प्रैक्टिस हो रहा है उसे हम ट्रेडिशनल बोल देते हैं. पर उसके बाद over the last 20 years many new trends have also evolved. I think the change has happened in terms of assessing the change. मतलब पहले असेसमेंट सिर्फ क्वालिटेटिवली होते थे, स्केल्स वगैरह हम यूज़ करके देखते थे बैलेंस कैसे इंप्रूव हो रहा है. अभी नाउ विद द यूज़ ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी यू कैन कैप्चर इट इन अ वेरी इंट्रिकेट मैनर. So जैसे ये गेट लैब्स आ रहे हैं या मायो मोशन एनालिसिस, जैसे बहुत सारे वो मेजर्स अभी आ रहे हैं जिससे हम स्लाइटेस्ट ऑफ चेंज कैन बी कैप्चर्ड. और रिसर्च बहुत ऐसा हुआ है कि कौन सा छोटा चेंज वहाँ पे एक बड़ा चेंज आपके लाइफ में क्रिएट कर सकता है. वैसे वाले स्टडीज भी अभी अवेलेबल है. सो यू नो व्हाट टू यूज, व्हाट टू असेस, so we are more informed now.
That's wonderful, definitely. Could you share some success stories or case studies where physiotherapy has had a significant impact on a patient's recovery or quality of life? Or maybe actually, has your experience, you have your experience.
I mean, quite a few. So every patient I think has improved in some way. Some patients have been able to return to work and they have actually started, using. So patients with stroke who have come to our OPD have recovered enough to go back and use the public transport. They have gone back and started working. वैसे भी है. और जो बच्चों के साथ मैं काम करती हूँ ना, especially some of them are very low functioning. मतलब उनको head holding भी नहीं है या swallowing भी नहीं है, वो वाले भी बच्चे हैं. तो in them just getting that response, decreasing the caregivers burden, जैसे मतलब उनको माएँ जो होती है बच्चों की वो पूरा उनको उठा के नहलाती है वगैरह, तो उनका आई थिंक बर्डन काफ़ी प्रपोर्शन में कम करना. वो बच्चा he is now interested in life and he is responding in a very creative way. I think that also is a big change जो बाहर वालों को बहुत easily दिखाई नहीं देगा. But the parents give us that feedback that yes, now my life is much better with the child responding better.
Wow, definitely. It's a noble cause, especially also at that time. It gives you the satisfaction in your personality. Okay. With the rise of sedentary lifestyles and the aging population, what advice can you give our listeners on maintaining good physical health and when they should consider seeking the help of physiotherapist?
So I think when so एक तो you don't have to wait till the aging process starts. Right from the
Okay,
beginning,
yes.
being staying fit is very very important. But then when you start experiencing the impact of aging, even at the first experience of that, I think you should start investing in staying fit in some way.
Do yoga or gym or meditation or something like
Yes,
that,
and when you
anything.
are, I think, starting with anything new, whether it is yoga or whether it's
Gym or
brisk walking
exercise.
or anything, consult somebody who has good knowledge of how to do the warm up, how
Yes.
to what extent can you go for the stretching. आप कितने ड्यूरेशन के लिए कर सकते हो, थोड़ा सा आप खुद को असेस करके फिर
You're
उस
right.
वैसे एक स्ट्रक्चर्ड डिसिप्लिन एक्सरसाइज करोगे तो यू विल डेफिनेटली
Don't do even actually ego lifting, something like that. Please don't do that.
So don't abruptly get into it. Just follow some ritual. It can be, even if it's yoga, then be sure you are being trained by yoga therapist. ऐसे ही videos देख
Always,
के
always.
start मत करना.
You're right. क्योंकि इसमें कई सारी बार ऐसा होता है, क्योंकि मेरे तो एक टीचर ही रहे हैं, तो उन्होंने बताया था कई सारे ऐसे आसन और योग होते हैं कि जिनको आप विदाउट टीचर कर ही नहीं सकते, और अगर आपने कर लिया तो आप कुछ भी जानलेवा कर सकते हो अपने से, कुछ भी गलत हो सकता है. ओके, ये थे आपके फील्ड से रिलेटेड कुछ क्वेश्चंस, और कुछ क्वेश्चंस मैं आपसे रिलेटेड आपसे भी पूछूंगा. ओके, और इवन एक्चुअली आवर यूनिवर्सिटी इज रिलेटेड. ओके, व्हाट मेक्स आवर इंस्टीट्यूशन यूनिक? Of course, it's a faculty like us, definitely. But what about the factors such as infrastructure, cafeteria, lab and research facilities, the varied courses and the general environment of learn and fun and later earn?
I think it's a good balance between maintaining the basic human values through, by through the curriculum designing and all. We try to make sure that our teaching happens in a very disciplined way. मतलब ऐसे ही
okay.
lecture लिया और ख़त्म किया, ऐसे नहीं है.
ऐसा नहीं है.
Our lectures are very well planned, and the curriculum gets reviewed and revised on a regular basis,
Even
which
midterm
brings a
exams
lot
and
of
all.
ethical sense into the whole process. I think वो एक part है. मतलब वहाँ पे एक values को maintain करना एक लेवल पे. दूसरी लेवल पे देर इज़ अ लॉट ऑफ स्कोप फॉर एक्सप्लोरेशन. आई थिंक आई गेट अ लॉट ऑफ क्रिएटिव फ्रीडम बीइंग हियर. मतलब एक जगह पे डिसिप्लिन है तो दूसरी जगह पे आई एम गेटिंग टू, इवन द चॉइस ऑफ दिस इंस्टीट्यूट फॉर PhD was somewhere not just because I'm a faculty here, but because I thought I'll be able to explore the field of my choice. And there will, on the other side, there will be a panel that will scrutinize everything and make sure that I am doing things in order. मतलब वो दोनों का जो बैलेंस है, एक क्रिएटिव फ्रीडम मिलना अपने खुद के पोटेंशियल को एक्सप्लोर करने के लिए, और दूसरे साइड से कोई तो है जो आपको डिसिप्लिन कर रहा है.
Wow.
I think that balance is, I think it's not something that you experience everywhere. And then I can speak about my school of physiotherapy, that the whole culture of nurturing the juniors by the seniors is something that I've experienced in the last 15 years. मतलब कोई किसी के, if somebody is on the verge of success ना, that person will be, I think, supported by everyone
Supported
else.
by everyone. As an it's not actually something like that, there is some politics or something like that actually in other colleges actually you can see in the society.
Yeah.
But actually
Yes,
it's not here.
yes. There can be difference of opinion, but there is no difference of intention. I mean,
Intentions.
There is always a lot of support for whatever endeavors you are very sincerely undertaking. उसके लिए support हमेशा मिलता है.
Remarkable, definitely. That's great. Okay, if you would have not be a professor, you would be?
So a professor of, or a physiotherapist generally, or just a,
actually, if you would have not be a physiotherapist, then actually who would
then
you
I
be?
think I would have been a writer more seriously. I would
Okay,
have written,
right.
I think, on a more regular basis, and
Which
I would
actually
have
you're doing.
traveled more, and probably I would have got into the field of anthropology, sociology, थोड़ा वो जो stream होता है ना, human.
Wonderful. So
human
you
life
would
का
also go
history.
into the travel vlogging or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Career opportunities, we know about the students. Actually, you mentioned about the physiotherapy a lot. Okay, the one important question I have for you: the emergence of AI, artificial intelligence, would affect the physiotherapy field too, in the good or bad mode? What do you say?
So I think there are a lot of advantages. This chat GPT and all. I mean, if that's
Definitely,
what you are
yes, ChatGPT
referring
had
to,
to
उसका
became-
definitely advantages है. But somewhere I think the human touch, or एक human being के तौर पे, when I experience, as I said, the whole vulnerability of being in a situation where you are challenged with something new.
Yes.
That is what you convey to the next generation, and I think that
Yes.
only it's through the human emotional medium that those
Definitely, I
values
agree.
get conveyed. You know, those values of virtuosity बोलते हैं ना, तो वो convey होने के लिए ह्यूमन बीइंग की ज़रूरत है.
Always,
That's the
always.
only thing that cannot be replaced. For everything else, yes, you can have AI, and it will. I think we should not be enslaved by it. We should be in control of it somewhere.
Definitely. So it should be actually
Though,
boon,
though
not
I'm
should be a
not an
curse.
expert in this, you know, I need to learn much more about AI to be able to comment more convincingly. But right
Same here,
now,
it's
based on
but actually
the
nowadays we are
information
doing
I
it.
have, this is what I feel.
Okay. There will be a rapid fire round for you now. I think you're ready for that, especially our famous rapid fire. So we'll ask some questions to you.
Okay.
और आपकी फील्ड से सारे रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन हमने आपसे पूछ लिए now.
Okay.
Okay. Best advice you got in your career?
So when it works, it is therapy. When it does not work, it is assessment.
Oh, great, nice. Okay, the happiest moment of your life?
When I saw a child again with cerebral palsy, very happy. I mean, I quickly could think of that moment.
Okay.
When he voluntarily moved his hand for the first time to play a drum, listening to a song. I was giving him therapy, a music was playing.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
through all those 8 years of his life, he was in this stiff position.
So much stiff, okay.
Yeah,
like
without
that.
any voluntary movement. The movements would happen only as reflexes.
Oh my God.
But that was the time when he was able to see something, he sought something, he took his hand there. It was like he was seeking
Oh, wow.
life or expressing his, a desire to be alive for the first time.
It was beautiful, definitely. So that was the happiest
Yeah.
moment. Oh wow, wonderful. The saddest moment of your life?
Uh, so there was something that had happened once in the earlier hospital where I was working when
Okay.
it wasn't any one particular person's mistake, but then after the nebulization was given in the ICU and then something, and then suddenly that patient started sinking, and then
Oh my God.
patient who was voluntarily breathing, he had to be put on a ventilator, and then I was told a couple of days later that he passed away. He was actually not
Oh my
in a
God.
very good shape to begin with, but then I think it comes.
I've seen that
comes
actually in cinemas only, but actually you have seen that. You are actually
No, I
telling me
was
that in a very vivid
somewhere I
manner,
just happened
especially
to be part of the scene, but then it keeps coming back as
because people
one memory
don't
that-
talk about that. Anyway, actually they don't tell about that in that way. Actually, you are telling me in a very vivid manner. So it happened something like that. It's a magical for me. I mean, it's different. Okay. So at that time, actually, you became sad
Yeah,
after
of
that.
course,
Okay,
of
for
course.
some time. Okay. The challenging moment of your life.
I think every day is a challenge.
Every day
I
is a
mean,
challenge.
yeah. Something like giving a lecture at 1:30 after
Definitely.
lunch when you
And
know
being ready
that,
for that.
and I mean to know that after lunch the kids are on the verge of being drowsy
They're
and
being
then keeping
drowsy
them
and lazy.
awake. I mean that is an everyday challenge. But yeah,
Okay.
in the clinical area, I mean the challenges happen every single day.
Every single day, definitely. Okay. Okay, which actor is your favorite?
Uh, there are a few, but I think I'll give the most cliched answer because that will be the most honest one. Amitabh Bachchan.
Oh, okay. Yes, definitely. Earlier, yesterday, I heard that. Okay, your favorite book?
Uh, there are two again. I think Ayn Rand's Fountainhead.
Oh, Ayn
had,
Rand's actually.
big impact, and Paulo Coelho's Alchemist. It's a small
Alchemist is
book,
my favorite,
but then
especially.
at every stage of life, it impacts you in a different way.
From which actually by Shahrukh used the dialogue in Om
हाँ,
Shanti Om,
हाँ.
especially. जब भी किसी चीज़ को अगर आप दिल से चाह रहे हैं तो सारी जो सृष्टि है वो आपको मिलाने के लिए षड्यंत्र कर रही है जो उन्होंने कमलेश्वर ने अपने स्टाइल में लिखा है
Yes.
देन एक्चुअली दे रिफ्रेज्ड इट
Yes, universe conspires to.
हाँ
bring it
कंस्पायर
to
टू
you.
डू दैट वो साजिश करती है ओके दैट आई बिलीव इट ओके योर फेवरेट मूवी
The Sound of Music.
द साउंड ऑफ म्यूजिक मैंने थोड़ी सी अभी इसमें थिएटर ऑन द रूफ एक्चुअली आई वॉच्ड ओके नॉट साउंड ऑफ म्यूजिक फेवरेट फूड
Favorite food में so on an everyday basis it's vegetarian, but non-veg में maybe prawns or something.
ओके प्रॉन्स ओके ग्रेट मैंने अभी तक खाया नहीं मैं नहीं खा
okay,
पाता ओके फेवरेट हॉलीडे डेस्टिनेशन
Actually क्या है कि मैं हर साल बैंगलोर जाती हूँ
Oh,
because that was where my grandparents lived and now my uncle lives there.
Wow.
So we.
My sister lives there, Bangalore.
Okay. So I think the most warmth that I associate with a place is
with the
with
place and
Bangalore.
with the city, so
So
they're look for you.
I mean, it may sound very repetitive because every year I go there.
Okay.
But even then, it turns out to be I can't think of any other destination as being better than that, because that is
Okay.
where the best moments of my childhood have been spent. So,
बट स्पेशली आप फिर तो मॉर्निंग में निकल जाते हो कि इन दी इवनिंग तो एक्चुअली देयर इज सो मच ट्रैफिक, तो आप शायद मेट्रो
हाँ
वेट्रो
हाँ
से
हाँ हाँ
ट्रेवल
अभी
करते
अभी
होगे
तो
अदरवाइज.
it's synonymous with traffic, Bangalore traffic.
Okay, okay. There was a rapid fire round, and actually you have nicely answered about that, about some questions, and there would be insights of your life. मैं कुछ सवाल आपसे उसके बारे में पूछूंगा, and you can tell me about that. Okay. What is the greatest lesson you got from your student or students?
So from some students, what I've learned is you can be very objective and at times critical and yet be respectful. So even when there is this underlying subliminal
yes.
respect, you can still be, very objective with asking something.
Asking something.
वो कुछ students में reflect होता है, and that I think I have learned and that has seeped into my personality also. Okay, now when I happen
I
to
ask
meet
something.
somebody who's senior to me, I don't get overwhelmed. Though I have a lot of respect for that person, I make sure to ask the right questions.
Yes,
ये मैंने I
definitely.
think मेरे students से सीखा है.
Same here, actually, we are doing it. Okay. An idea that changed your life. I mean, to join
Yeah.
in physiotherapy, came
I
here.
think it
or-
was my decision to do arts-based therapy. That,
Okay.
Because before that I was doing conventional physiotherapy, but I was, kind of, there was something within me that I knew needed expression. So art-based therapy was a field which made me realize that there is no single definition of appropriateness.
Okay.
So whatever,
yes.
so you yourself being manifested through your work is the ultimate measure of success. So there is no one version of being good or being appropriate.
You are what you are, especially.
Yes,
You're
yes.
doing it true to your work. Okay. You mean to say that. Okay. Now, how success has changed you? Or do you think actually you're successful till now?
So whatever I think good experiences I've had, which can be called success, I think they have definitely made me more confident about my skills, but at the same time they have opened out possibilities for me. So somewhere I think that confidence and humility, I think
Goes
they
round
come
and
in,
round
they come
simultaneously.
together with success.
Okay.
So
Yes.
success does not, it's not a phenomenon, it sort of connects you with a process that ensues, that comes after that.
Okay.
And so you happen to, with success, you happen to meet the people who are also successful in a different way. It comes as a direct consequence of success. You happen to meet the people who are also doing good work.
Definitely,
And so
and they are
that,
also
I think,
successful.
brings that sense of morality and humility and confidence together. And when that, I think those 2-3 things coexist is when you really understand what success means.
Oh wow,
think.
wonderful, wonderful. Nicely answered. The best role of your life, a daughter or a teacher?
I think a daughter. I think that
Okay.
because I think I'm most intensely involved.
Okay.
If I have to really prioritize, then I'll say I think my priorities as a daughter happen to come first in the list, and then everything comes after that.
Okay. Great. Okay. So, do you cry sometimes?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
but you
I
don't
do
tell,
very
I mean,
rarely now.
anyone.
As a child, I used to cry very often.
You look like I'm very stable and silent, calm and composed, something like that.
Yeah, but very occasionally, and sometimes the happy moments make me cry rather than.
Oh wow, wonderful.
So
That's
when
nice,
I when
that's
I
nice.
see some even I mean when I see some scene on television or a good movie which is very inspiring, something which, so I was watching a scene from this movie Tali,
Tali,
Sushmita Sen.
Sushmita Sen, okay,
and,
yes.
That scene in which she says something, and her that whole internal strength you can see. She's
On her
breaking
face.
down, but she's still holding herself, and not only is she holding herself but empowering so many others. That character. I think
Oh,
something
wow.
like that can make me cry
Oh wow.
out of maybe gratitude or whatever.
Oh great, great. Okay. What hurt you the most?
Sometimes, I mean, when your efforts, it's not that they are not acknowledged, but people don't understand at times. I mean, I'm lucky to not face that situation very often.
Okay.
Not here also. No, I mean, this, as I said, this is a place which acknowledges you reasonably well. But at times, when even with students, sometimes it's with patients. So there are these occasions when you feel that you are not being, your worth is not being
Same here, especially.
appreciated.
Same here.
At times that happens.
Okay.
Nobody is impervious to that feeling.
Okay, there was the insights of your life. और अब है मेरे पास सिर्फ एक last round, this or that round. So you, I will give you the option. You can choose one.
Okay.
And you can tell me about that. Okay.
Okay.
Veg or non-veg?
So on a daily basis, veg.
Okay.
Once in maybe
Occasionally
10,
you
10
take
days
the
non-veg.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Again on a daily basis, tea.
Okay.
Once in a while, coffee.
Okay. Gym or yoga?
Actually, dance.
You're a dancer. You're a dancer. Okay. Early riser or night owl?
Night owl.
Night owl. Emotional or practical? You're the emotional
A bit
one,
of both.
Okay. So you are emotionally practical or balanced, especially. Okay. Books or Kindle?
Books.
Books. The fragrance of the books. Love it. Mountains or beaches?
Mountains.
Mountains. Religious or spiritual?
Spiritual. Yeah.
Spiritual. Okay. Library or classroom?
Both, but library more, I think.
Really?
If
You've
because
been there, especially. Yes.
I mean,
You
I
love
don't get
that.
a chance to spend so much time in the library. It's
In-
only
in
in
the
the
comparison
evenings
of the
that I get
classroom.
to actually study. But if I'm left free of the entire routine, then I'll spend time in the library.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. Amazon Prime or Netflix?
Actually, I'm not too much into that, but
You don't actually watch a lot of things.
explored a bit of both. But whatever that I've seen, I've enjoyed. But I cannot really choose.
Okay. जो जहाँ मतलब जो भी स्टफ अच्छा है actually you watch that.
Yes.
Okay. Game of Thrones or House of Card?
Again, I've not followed any of those.
Oh,
Game of
okay.
Thrones ka thoda at least I'm acquainted with.
Even actually I did not watch it. I was actually more into love with the House of Card, the West Wing or something like that. Okay.
It's from my students that I've heard a lot of stories about both of these shows rather than
wow.
me actually having experienced it.
Oh, great. Okay. Any message you want to convey to anyone? That is the last one questions, and even actually it's you can call it the suggestion to you also. I mean, any message if you want to convey to anyone.
So I think
for this
whenever
universe or anywhere.
you feel that, so that happens to me also. When you feel envious about somebody, if you feel that somebody's getting a recognition which I also could have got, maybe I have the potential. These feelings are very ubiquitous. They're very common. I think
They're very
among
common, actually.
all
With me, it's a
youngsters.
common, definitely.
Definitely. So I think at that time you can ask yourself one question: do you really want to replace your life with the life of that person?
Nice.
And
nice.
usually the answer is no. The
Because
answer-
you have to do also the sacrifices actually what he or she has made.
So it will never come as whether it's the work profile, whether it's the designation, whether it's the post, an award, anything that you consider to be good. It will never come in isolation. It will come as the whole organization. So unless you
Right.
experience the upbringing, the challenges, the same relationships, the same house in which that person is staying,
Even
the
actually
same food that the
their
person
past
is
life,
eating.
I keep it actually. I keep it that way. You're right.
So if you are in love with anything about your life, then your own success will be something that you will have to discover on your own. You cannot aspire for something that somebody else is getting. So find your own dream and then chase it.
Oh wow, wonderful. Nicely explained. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Amrita, actually you came here and actually you told us so much things about your life, some insights of your life. और ये थी आज मेरे साथ अमृता जिनसे मैंने आज काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें जानी हैं, उनके बारे में हम लोगों ने बातें की हैं. आप लोगों के पास दोबारा आऊँगा कल एक बार फिर से 90.4 मेगाहर्ट्ज़ कम्युनिटी रेडियो ज्ञानवाणी पर. तब तक के लिए बने रहिए हम लोगों के साथ. स्टे ट्यून्ड, बी विद अस. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Absolutely.
Pleasure is all mine.